back. You're watching our special coverage across Network 18. We've been talking about our mission Swachhta or Paani. And just before the break, I promised you a surprise, but I promised you I didn't mean Anand.
Absolutely. But we've got somebody who's taken off from Kevadia and touched down here, ladies and gentlemen. Joining us now is the campaign ambassador of Mission Swachhta and Paani, the one and only Akshay Kumar.
Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for...
Thank you.
Good to have you. Good to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here, Akshay.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
So, अब से कुछ घंटों पहले जिस जगह से मैं आपके साथ जुड़ा था, यानी कि स्टैच्यू ऑफ यूनिटी के लिए जो फेमस है गुजरात के केवड़िया से, वहां से मैं आप लोगों को बताना चाहता हूं, वहां से मुश्किल से करीबन 200 किलोमीटर दूर एक जगह है लोथाल. अब बड़ी हैरानगी की बात यह है कि लोथाल में 4500 साल पहले लोग टॉयलेट्स यूज करते थे. कैन यू बिलीव इट? सच में वहां खुदाई में इंडोर फ्लश टॉयलेट सिस्टम मिले हैं, ड्रेनेज और सीवेज सिस्टम मिले हैं. सोचिए कि 4500 साल पहले यह सब था. लेकिन आजकल पता नहीं लोग सफाई पे ध्यान क्यों नहीं देते ज्यादा करके, ये समझ में नहीं आती.
और सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि ये एक आदत अगर बना दें अक्षय, क्योंकि आज हम कह रहे हैं कि वर्ल्ड टॉयलेट डे का दिन है और मिलकर ये जिम्मेदारी लेनी है. आप कह रहे हैं 4500 साल पहले हमारी सभ्यता टॉयलेट बनाती थी, लेकिन हम आज की तारीख में...
लेकिन हो सकता है शायद लोग विश्वास ना करें, तो आपको तस्वीरें भी दिखाते हैं.
जी,
तस्वीरें दिखा सकते हैं?
हाँ, तस्वीरें हाँ देखिए,
चल रही है अभी.
तो ये वो लोथल की तस्वीरें हैं अक्षय, जिनका जिक्र आप कर रहे थे. देखिए यहाँ पे टॉयलेट्स बने हुए हैं.
हमको है ना इन लोगों से इंस्पिरेशन लेनी चाहिए. 4500 साल पहले की बात है, वहां से इंस्पिरेशन मतलब क्या दिन आ गए हैं.
बिल्कुल, एब्सोल्युटली फिनोमिनल. ये वो तस्वीरें हैं जिनका आप जिक्र कर रहे थे. देखिए लोथल के इस पुराने स्थल से आर्कियोलॉजिस्ट ने फाइंड किया, ढूंढा.
देखो कमाल, पूरा ड्रेनेज सिस्टम बना रखा है इन लोगों ने.
4500 साल पहले अगर ये आदत थी तो व्हाई नॉट नाउ? दैट्स द बिग क्वेश्चन. एंड अक्षय, जॉइनिंग अस नाउ इज नीति आयोग सीईओ परमेश्वरन अय्यर जी. परम अय्यर जी नमस्ते. अक्षय इज विद अस.
नमस्कार सर. How are you?
Hi Anand, Akshay, good to be back with you guys.
We also have Shireen Bhan.
Hi Mr. Iyer, how are you?
तो मिशन स्वच्छता और पानी में आपका स्वागत है, लेकिन नीति आयोग में आपके अपॉइंटमेंट के लिए आपको बहुत बहुत बधाई. हालांकि वहां आपकी अभी शुरुआती दिन है, लेकिन स्वच्छ भारत अभियान में आप सबसे आगे थे. आपने इसको चैंपियन किया था, तो उसे तो भुलाया नहीं जा सकता. अक्षय, आपने दुनिया के सबसे बड़े स्वच्छता और पानी के मिशन को हेड किया. $20 बिलियन के स्वच्छ भारत मिशन को लागू किया, जिससे भारत ने आजादी के बाद से चली आ रही एक बड़ी समस्या को काफी हद तक सुलझा लिया है. अब स्वच्छ भारत मिशन का भविष्य आप यहां से आगे कैसे देखते हैं? हाउ डू यू सी स्वच्छ भारत मूविंग ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट लेवल?
No, thanks Anand and Akshay and Shireen, good to be back with you guys. You know, अभी आप inspiration के बात कर रहे थे. I think that you know, the biggest inspiration for the Swachh Bharat mission was of course Prime Minister Modi, who actually shocked the nation and the world when he announced the mission at his Red Fort speech on 15th August 2014. And that was the first time ever, I think, in the world that the head of a nation actually confronted the issue of sanitation, the indignity for women and girls to have to go out and defecate in the open. And then he made a commitment, and you know, and then he delivered on it. And you know, we played a small part in sort of taking that forward with all the state governments. But I think that level of political commitment to a cause of sanitation, which has got a huge impact not just on dignity but also on cleanliness, on health, on the economy. So I think that inspiration was very clear. And you know, the nation succeeded in a Jan Andolan. People took to the cause. Akshay played a very important role in that fantastic movie, Toilet Ek Prem Katha. We used it so much to promote the cause of sanitation, women empowerment, etc. So that was phase 1 of Swachh Bharat. Phase 2 began in 2019-20, where now the concept of sanitation has been broadened to, you know, to solid waste management, to liquid waste management in both urban and rural. So that program is going on. It's a broader definition. But clearly, more work to be done. The work on sanitation never stops. And in NEETI, we work closely with the Department of Drinking Water and Sanitation, with Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, on taking the overall message of Swachhta forward and broadening the message. So there's more work to be done, but tremendous accomplishment so far.
परम अय्यर सर, मैं अक्षय कुमार बोल रहा हूं. आपको बधाई हो नीति आयोग का सीईओ बनने के लिए. आप ही ने मुझे, मैं आप दुनिया को बताना चाहता हूं, आप ही ने मुझे स्वच्छ भारत मिशन से जोड़ा था और मैं तब से लगातार 5 साल हो गए काम में लगा हुआ हूं. लेकिन आप मुझे छोड़ के नीति आयोग में चले गए. क्यों?
So Akshay, जैसे आपने कहा, look, it's been a pleasure working with you, and now that I'm back in the country and in NEETI, so we need to involve you with the much broader work which NEETI Aayog does, both in terms of policy but also in terms of improving the effectiveness of government organizations, and carrying forward the overall policy agenda of this government, which believes very much, जैसे आप जानते हैं, of taking policy to action. I think that's one of the trademarks of this government, of taking big ideas but programming them and implementing them on the ground.
Absolutely.
Whether it's basic services, whether it's scaling up digitalization, on the economic front. So I think it's all about taking concepts, policies and programming them. और जैसे आपने स्वच्छ भारत में, you were a brand ambassador and you sold the message of Swachhta, which led to tremendous sort of momentum on the ground. Women empowerment, women went from being beneficiaries to leaders. And I think apart from the movie, which had a huge impact, you have played personally. जब आपने एक toilet pit empty किया था इंदौर में हमारे साथ, that was another huge example. So thank you, Akshay, and hope you will continue
I
now
must
working
thank
with
you
us in
for,
NEETI.
I must thank you, sir, for introducing. मैं आपसे एक और प्रश्न पूछना चाहता हूं. आपने स्वच्छ भारत मिशन को घर घर में पहुंचाया, लेकिन क्या आपको लगता है कि अभी भी हम हिंदुस्तानियों को सैनिटेशन के एरिया में बहुत काम करना अभी भी जरूरत है? क्या आपको लगता है सर?
नहीं, आई थिंक ये एक इम्पॉर्टेंट पॉइंट आपने उठाया अक्षय. आपने सही कहा है कि हाइजीन इज स्टिल a lot of work to be done on hygiene.
Right.
Because there are 3 parts typically, or Mission Paani is an important part. जब हम wash बोलते हैं, water, sanitation and hygiene. So under the Jal Jeevan mission, now there will be tap water in every household by 24. That's another huge program which is being delivered on the ground. Sanitation, most of the work has been done by way of open defecation, both urban and rural. But now this needs to be broadened to segregation, solid waste management, जिसके बारे में आज हरदीप पुरी जी ने भी कहा. Now, but hygiene is still important. आपको याद होगा अक्षय, during the pandemic, you made a very important message for us, a spot on needing to stop spitting, thukna.
Yeah,
So there are still habits in India which we need to overcome as a nation. उसके बारे में cleanliness will continue to be the focus of the agenda. Now going forward, even if you look at 2047, जो Prime Minister साहब ने अमृत काल के बारे में जो the vision he's put out, it's important that hygiene gets mainstreamed across the board, hygiene and sanitation, and the work always continues. It never stops. And therefore, whether it's in urban areas or rural areas, sanitation, hygiene, water, these will continue to be very, very important agendas. In particular, हमारा tourism का इतना potential है, particularly all the iconic tourism places. It will be very important to bring them all to international standards of sanitation and hygiene, so that we can continue to promote and boost tourism.
Very well said.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Iyer, I remember many of our conversations, especially after you wrote your book, Method in the Madness, really describing the journey of the Swachh Bharat mission. And for those of you who haven't read that, it will give you a very deep insight on why this mission actually worked and why the execution took off in the way that it did. But, you just spoke to us about the phases of the mission, sir. Building out the infrastructure was phase 1. Changing behavioral attitudes, behavioral change, of course, continues to be an ongoing exercise. What I want you to focus on now is what is the plan as far as empowering sanitation workers, as far as elevating the place, the position of sanitation workers in this ecosystem, providing them the dignity of labor? And secondly, now as CEO of Niti Aayog, are you going to focus much more on the inclusion of technology, low-cost innovation? What's the plan on that front?
Sure, Shireen. Excellent points, very important ones you have brought up. On sanitation workers, the importance and the focus on, eliminating the manual evacuation of excreta continues to be very high up on the policy agenda, on the implementation agenda. And a lot of steps have been taken both by the central government, but more importantly in many of the municipal corporations in India. So that's ongoing work in progress. But I think in terms of the dignity of sanitation workers, let's look at the phenomenal example led by the Prime Minister. If you remember during the Kumbh Mela in 2019, how the Prime Minister himself washed the feet of 5 sanitation workers at Allahabad. That was a huge signal at the highest level of office in India, the importance given to sanitation workers and the need to honor them and to make sure that they lead a dignified life. So I think it works on both fronts, and the government is working on both. Now coming back to your question of the importance of innovation and going forward, and how do we scale up behavior change using technology? I think the use of technology, both in terms of actual technology by way of engineering solutions to sanitation, that's equally important, whether it's for solid waste management or it's for evacuation of waste. But also I think digital technology is being extensively used now across the board just to promote behavior change itself. Now, if you take mission lifestyle for the environment, how do you get people and use digital technology, whether it's using the MyGov platform or using social media, to get people to adopt climate and environment-friendly actions? So again, a lot of work on the digital front, on the technology front. So I think both by way of engineering technology, but also by way of digital technology, these are critical means to use to promote behavior change, particularly for Swachhta. So we did it with virtual classrooms during Swachh Bharat, the huge database in government recording the Swachhta app, and I think now it's going to be taken to a new level in Mission Life as well. So Swachh Bharat Mission Phase 2, Mission Life as well. Huge scope with the digital platforms India has built to build them and use them also for Swachhta.
Very well said, Param sir. I'm going to request you to please wait. I'm quickly going to ask Ravi and Saurabh to join us back, and let's have a quick chat on how private organizations or this private sector can contribute further. Rekit Harpic has been doing a lot of work. They've been wanting to take this entire conversation of sanitation, clean toilets forward. More importantly, we want this aspect of no one left behind. So quickly, Ravi, what is it that you can do, whereas Param sir is setting up the benchmark for the way forward?
It's really interesting, and we have been working very closely with the Ministry of Jal Shakti. And in the past, like under the guidance of Param sir, we were able to create a lot of magic. Again, Saurabh was out of country for a while. He's back. And with full force, we are again on the mission on Swachhta and Paani. And leaving no one behind is one of the biggest agendas which we are driving. And there are huge investments, outflows, which are what we are promising. And one of the major things is behavior change needs to be sustained. So a big cadre is required at the grassroots levels. Like investment just in the state of Uttar Pradesh, like 10,000 sanitation women workers, creating them for the newer job opportunities in the space of sanitation itself. It's just a beginning, but we will take this agenda pan-India and the community movement.
ये कर रहे हैं ठीक से काम?
कर रहे हैं, बहुत अच्छा कर रहे हैं, मतलब इससे क्या उनकी जान ले लोगे?
नहीं, पर इन्हें और करना होगा. What is it that 2-3 things we are saying? 5 calls to action from our viewers. We are asking them 5 चीजें जो हमें करनी है. तो 2 चीजें आप बताओ जो आपको लगता है आपको करना चाहिए.
No, 100%. I think just to begin with, I think Harpic, which reaches around 100 million households in India, we take this not only as an obligation, but rather as a privilege to be actually being able to converse in sanitation and really make an impact today. To talk of those 2 things that you're talking about, I think first and foremost, I want to talk about things that I would want to do differentially as well. First thing is looking back. I mean, many a times when you go and use the toilet and you just come out, you don't dare look back and take action. And that's the thing, at least when we were conversing about it, when we said sabki zimmedari hai, to zimmedari starts with us as well. And I think that's the integral part of it, is looking back, I think, is the first thing. And second is continuing to drive access. I think while we talk broadly in terms of infrastructure, but behavior change continues to be one of the bigger things that we need to impact. And thereby that's the thing we'll continue to do.
Very well said. Diya Mirza was with us, Param sir, and she made a very interesting observation. She said that there is a stigma as, this is not my job. I am too elite to clean a toilet. But in your house, you're supposed to, it's about dignity and it's about doing your own work. Do you think that's a big challenge to overcome, even if we respect sanitation workers? But this whole mentality has to change, saying that ye toilet dhone ka kaam kisi aur ka hai. Someone who I feel is inferior to me. This is the mindset that needs to change, perhaps. Agree, disagree?
No, Anand, I agree. And in fact, Akshay joined us in entering a toilet pit. Part of the reason for that was to show that, to eliminate this whole myth and stigma around cleaning toilets. You can do it yourself. You can empty a pit. Anyone can do that. In fact, we need to clean our own toilets like we do. And so therefore, but a lot more work needs to be done. It's not somebody else's job. It's simple, particularly if you use the simple twin pit toilet which Akshay promoted in the movie and demonstrated himself. That's something which needs to be done at home. And and it's also about getting out of the stigma and changing behavior. So in many ways that behavior change needs to happen at home, in addition to promoting behavior change for general Swachhta. But still a long way to go and more effort needed, Anand.
But I actually just wanted to, just how you said, look back. I don't want to look back. That's what you said, right? But why is it that we have to go only for that, कि हमारे घर वाले हमको सिखाएंगे? Why can't it be a part of school curriculum also? Why can't it be taught in school कि पूरे classroom को ले गए, toilet दिखाया, but after using the toilet you have to lift the lid or whatever it is and how to wash your hand. Practically हम नहीं सिखाते, सिर्फ मुझे पता है किताब के अंदर लिखा हुआ है, लेकिन कभी practically नहीं बताते. So I think this is one of the things which I want to put, कि why don't we start teaching the children? Why can't we have like a half an hour every week talking about your toilet habits, your toilet etiquettes? I think that would be, rather than just सारा का सारा काम घर वालों को ही दे दो कि parents सिखाएंगे. I think we should all share it together. That's what I feel.
No, I think you touch upon a very important topic, and I think in the next segment we'll talk about it. I think there's work that we're doing with Sesame Street, our partners here in this particular field, where we'll go to 1.75 million kids and actually talk about toilet etiquette for the first time. When we were kids, सबने hand washing के बारे में सुना है, nutrition के बारे में सुना है, but toilet is the key miss that nobody talks about, and I think this is the first step that we're taking in that direction.
See, that is why I made a movie also called Padman, where we talk about sanitary pads. So, because these things, they all just miss it out, and I, as being an actor, I can just make movies on it. I know it is not a commercial movie, but...
No, but Akshay, that's a question that I wanted to ask you in light of what we just heard there from Mr. Iyer as well, that you decided to do this movie where typical Hindi film heroes are not shown as going into toilet pits or talking about menstrual health or menstrual hygiene. Did you worry while you were going through that process of putting these films together that the audience may not respond and react to you
To be honest, I got a lot of support from Mr. Iyer. Lot of support from him, and a lot of time I have even told him the whole script. He has made some changes. I am coming out with a little bit secret. He told me, Akshay, do this thing. The ending also was actually told to me by him.
Really?
Yeah.
But Param Iyer, so you're not just CEO of Niti Aayog, the mission director of Swachh Bharat Mission, a tennis coach, you're also a script writer, script writer also.
Author plus script writer.
Shireen, I've got to let you in another little secret with Akshay. As he was making the movie, phenomenal movie, and really got to know him well, there was one funny part where in the script we were looking at it, there was a toilet scam. So I said, hey Akshay, wo to nikal do yaar, why do you have a toilet scam? It doesn't look good for the government. He said, Mr. Iyer, I need to have a scam, otherwise this movie is not going to sell.
But have to.
but एक बात बताइए, एक्शन कुमार, खिलाड़ी कुमार, वहां से आपको किसी ने पूछा नहीं कि आप क्या टॉयलेट और सैनिटरी पैड्स पे पिक्चर बना रहे हो, क्या कर रहे हो?
अभी पूछते हैं ना, अभी पूछते हैं, why aren't you doing commercial cinema? Why aren't you doing? अब मैं मुझे अभी है, मुझे मजा आता है ये ऐसी फिल्में बनाने में, but I like it. I get so involved with it. आज 5 साल हो गए हैं टॉयलेट एक प्रेम कथा को आए हुए. I still feel like it is a part of me and I want to continue with it. I can just discontinue and just go and start to do something else. But I feel that this is a part of me, and Mr. Iyer has introduced me to it so well that I can't come out of it.
I can't forget January 2021, Param sir, I have to say that it was we never asked Akshay to walk those 15, 16 kilometers on live while we did the telethon. He said, I want to do it because I want to see how much of an effort the women of our country are taking when they have to go. And
but
they are
nothing compared to that.
No,
what they do is, मैं तो AC में चल रहा था, वो तो मतलब नंगे पैर चलते हैं.
Effort है ना, वो दिल से आता है ना, किसी के कहने पे नहीं आया ना, दिल से. अब यही आप कह रहे हैं कि behavioral change चाहिए कि दिल से.
लोगों ने ट्रोल किया था.
उससे फर्क नहीं पड़ता सर, कहने वाले कहते रहेंगे, आप कर रहे हैं. That's what important. Sir, final question, Param sir, I want to ask you. We are calling for a call to action. We are asking all our viewers to tell us 5 things they believe that we need to do going forward. Mission Swachhta or Paani. 5 bullet points. So 1 or 2 from you. 2 Saurabh has shared. I'd like you to share.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. I think just a couple of points also building on what all of you and Akshay have been saying. You know, let's take Swachhta, let's look at waste segregation at home. All the organic waste which comes out of our kitchen, you know, why can't we just do simple segregation between dry and wet as everyone knows? A simple action which can be taken at home. And again, you know, water usage, Mission Paani, how do you conserve water? When you're brushing your teeth, switch off the tap while you're brushing and just, you know, switch on the tap to wash your brush and, you know, to gargle. Simple actions like that can actually save water and also keep our environment clean.
Well, Mr. Iyer, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks very much. And do let us know when you actually decide to write your next script. And I'm assuming that Akshay Kumar is going to be playing a starring role in that movie when it's made. But But thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate your time. And we wish you could have been here with us in person.
Thanks very much. Pleasure to join you.
Thank you very much. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us here. Akshay is of course going to continue.
इनको कहीं नहीं भेज रहे हैं, ये तो पकड़ के इनको रखना है.
आपने पकड़ लिया उनको, मैंने देख लिया है. Time for us to take a break, but before we go, please welcome a very melodious voice from the Northeast, Rahul Rajkova, a very young musician, and he is going to talk about bringing change through music. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy.